What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more of The Police, and we're returning to Synchronicity. Thank you again to both Lori and Stefan. And in the previous video I did for this album, the first reaction, I didn't realize that there are two Synchronicity tracks, two title tracks. By the time I posted that reaction, I did, so I labeled it correctly, but I spoke the whole reaction about this being the title track called Synchronicity. But yes, there is another Synchronicity coming. In any case, the next tune in the playlist is Walking in Your Footsteps. My inclination would be to think figurative, traveling on the same path that somebody else already has, following them in their life trajectory, but of course it could be more literal, and if it is more literal, when you walk in someone's footsteps, you might be trying to mask or disguise your own. I consider that type of interpretation less likely. If I were to predict, I would think more in the line of following in someone's footsteps metaphorically, living as they did, traveling as they did, and heading in the same direction. But I'll see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is The Police. The track is Walking in Your Footsteps, and it's from their 1983 album, Synchronicity. 1982 tune. So first of all, sonically, it did have a very prehistoric, Triassic, Cretaceous sort of feel with this tribal jungle-style rhythm, and ultimately, at first I thought he said 15 million years. That threw me off a bit. And then he did say dinosaurs. Like, wait, so he's really talking about, dinosaur fossils and footprints. So presumably I either misheard that line or it's just, using a long ago year marker, even if it's, well after the KT extinction event, which marks the end of most of the lines of the dinosaurs. Obviously, the line that is known or has become modern birds is one that survived past that. But the point is, it really felt like it was playing with prehistoric scientific, but also like religiously cultural ideas in combination. The idea of dinosaurs were the chosen ones, God's chosen ones on the planet, but they weren't smart enough to or didn't have the conditions to survive, and now humans who dominate the planet might be dumb enough to set off atomic bombs. Again, this is 83, not necessarily the height of the Cold War, but just about. So the idea of, again, mutually assured destruction, someone sees a red balloon in the sky, hits a button, and that makes the other side hit a button, and then everybody hits their buttons, and everybody dies, nuclear winter, and we're one day our fossils and the vestiges of our society could be, the same as dinosaur footprints, in the 20th century when this was written, or indeed now. So, like I said, it felt like it was playing with some scientific ideas mixed with cultural values and religious thinking, and sort of playing off the idea that humans could be the next dinosaurs. We could be the next species to go extinct because we didn't see what was coming and we weren't capable of stopping it. And it's funny, there was a moment early on where I sort of smiled a little wry smile, and the reason I did that is because I came to the realization that a TV show that I watched for a long time, some people know it, Mystery Science Theater, it's like a comedy show where they watch old movies and make jokes the whole time, but there's also segments between parts of the movie where it's like a skit show, and there's one skit part where they sung this song as they're like doing this silly bit, and they're like walking in your footsteps, and I suddenly realized it's an homage to this song. Didn't know it at the time, just thought it was something they made up for the show, but apparently it was a reference. In any case, that aside, I really enjoyed trying to unpack what was happening lyrically. Obviously a very percussion-driven song, like hand drums sounding like bongos, but it did feel like there was maybe some actual, drum set drums as well as perhaps like drumsticks hitting together at different points, and space age, or perhaps better, ancient, prehistoric guitar, just sort of doing these little arrhythmic, otherworldly type flourishes, which seem to fit with placing it in a different era, a different epoch. So a really fascinating tune, and one that's very far away from what I heard some people say, and obviously not every song has to fit into this as we come to the end of the Police's career. But I do remember a couple people mentioning that, one of the reasons the Police sort of had tensions and split apart was because it got to a point where the other members felt like they were essentially just playing Sting's pop songs that he wanted to do. This felt very different. This didn't feel like, it's a catchy tune, a pop track, pop rock tune that you'd hear on the radio. It definitely felt more abstract and esoteric, so I enjoyed it lyrically and sonically. Curious to hear what people think about this one. Let me know, and I will see you next time. Peace.